Are you guys a drink? Guess not.
Patrick Swayze is
Dalton.
I thought you'd be bigger.
Opinions vary.
When he's around, anything can happen.
How's a guy like you end up at Bob's?
Just lucky, I guess.
And usually does.
If somebody gets in your face, I want you to be nice. Don't be rude. Ask him to walk, but be nice. Help this gentleman to the door. Until it's time to not be nice.
So says the fighting philosopher.
He may be hard to handle.
If I keep talking, you're going to go off thinking I'm a nice guy.
I know you're not a nice guy.
But he's easy to like.
What's the matter, Dalton? Don't you like women?
The worst I ever had was wonderful.
He's not what you'd expect.
I thought you'd be bigger.
But there's one thing you can count on. He's the best friend a good time ever had.
You guys tired?
I'll go get all the sleep I need and I'm dead. This is my town.
I'm not afraid of him.
I guess you'll be having that fire sale now, all right? Get your hands full, kid.
I just think I'm looking at a dead man.
Patrick Swayze.
For that line of work, I thought you'd be bigger.
Gee, I've never heard that before.
Roadhouse.
All right, welcome to Movie Night Extravaganza, Roadhouse episode part 2. They used all 3. I thought you'd be bigger in that trailer. I just realized, like, you try to like include every single one. But all right, I am here with Jay Andrew, Bigger in Person World. How's it going?
It's pretty good. I used to fuck guys like you in prison.
Oh, all right. Well, just starting out with that. Cool. Conan Neutron, like our platonic third.
Whoa.
I don't know.
started in with that, huh? Okay. Sure.
All right.
Monica versus podcast. Conan Neutron, the Secret Friends. You're gonna do my fucking plugs, man. Even though I'm the one that dragged us into a second.
I just paused and then went to go do them.
Okay.
All right. Cut me off. You know what I mean?
Also, I'm going in Rowdy Neutron tonight. Thank you very much.
Hey, I'm ready to get rowdy.
I know you are.
I got rowdy energy right here.
Sponsor.
All right, Renee Rune, who as I say, always does all the things all over the internet, but also writes for the Night Shift is the movie review blogs that she does. Of course, great person to talk to about any movie really with, but Roadhouse I feel like you've been excited for the last week. So, I'm
I only watched it recently again, and so I'm really pumped for this.
Yeah. And Marina Dove, who was on a couple weeks ago, back on now. Happy to have you on this panel. And your video essays on YouTube are just under your name, right? They're not a title for them.
Yeah, it's just my name.
All right. Well, Roadhouse, let's talk about it. I feel like I said everything I really wanted to say the first episode, so I'm going to hang back and let everybody else go into it.
Well, why don't we start where I kind of left off with the last episode? Because I talked about how the camera kind of, there's a lot of nudity, female nudity in the movie, but the camera lingers on Patrick Swayze. And what does that mean for the female view? And just, since we don't have an all male crew like we had last time, I think that'd probably be a great spot to start with.
For me, I think when I just rewatched it, I was my dad loves this film and made me watch it when I was really young. And I think when I watched it again, I just didn't realize how blatant, the sexualization of women is in the film, and just ridiculously as well. There's so many funny scenes, like the one where a guy's sitting at a table with presumably his girlfriend, and some guys are ogling the chick, and then they say like, "Do you want to come and kiss them for money?" And then she just rips her top down, and this guy's like full. I'm just like, how did I miss all this the first time around? Like, you know, and then later on when you have that whole strip dance thing on the stage, like the entire film is filled with it. Like, it's just blatant now to look when you watch it. But yeah, when I was young, it didn't even cross my mind. Even like the sex scenes and stuff are quite hilarious as well. Like the scene when Patrick Swayze and Kelly Lynch finally get together is actually looks like the worst sex you could possibly ever have. Like, he just jams it in there. There's no foreplay. There's no nothing. It's like it's really like, wow, that's all you got, bro. Like, yeah, I was like, ooh. And then me and my husband had this hilarious joke about no one on the show, like no one in this movie apparently wears any underwear. And that was like every time no one wears underwear ever. It's like, yeah, so but yeah, I think the female representation in the film is very indicative of the generation that this was aimed at and the time it was like filmed as well. But yeah, at the time I thought it was kind of badass. Now I think little, but you know, it's still a hilarious film. Regardless.
If I can interject real quick, I also like that all the bar antics, like carrying on. That's treated like that's an average Tuesday at that bar.
Right.
Like, this happens all the time. Like, I mean, it's like
prison.
No one would be alive if this was every night at this bar. Like, there's no, like, I mean, believe me, I've seen lots of bars and stuff does get crazy, but it's like, this is like, oh yeah, it's just always like this. It's kind of crazy. Lol. No.
Yeah, the manager's like, the manager when he's like a toast. Nobody died tonight. Like, oh, that's an average night at your bar. Like, I mean, like, people die on like what, like at least half the nights.
I mean, how big is this town?
Yeah, it's like
also,
rural Missouri.
You notice that the bar, I love this about Americans. The bars are like, it's just stranded in the middle of nowhere. Where are all these people coming from?
No, that's I mean, but that is a thing in real life. Like,
that is real.
Yeah, in rural, like,
yeah, they all drive to the bar too. Like
they do. They drunk drive to and fro.
They're all drunk drivers. Like, I'm just like, what is going on here?
That is actually real, though. That's the most believable part of the entire bar is that piece of it. Yeah.
That's just the Midwest.
Yeah, that's why I mean.
It's outside. I mean, they say in it's outside Kansas City too. It's not like it's like the town seems kind of out of the way, but it's not. I mean, presumably it's like within an hour or half an hour of Kansas City. So I mean, it could be that it just has such a reputation as like a place for people to hang out and stab each other that people are just coming into Kansas City. I guess.
Forrest, we call it letting off steam. Hello.
Oh, I thought that's what you call what Patrick Swayze was doing. Pushing her up against the
against the brick wall, and then she said she had like she got bruises and stuff. She talked about that. Like,
all right, because you brought that up though, Marina, I want to get your thoughts on it, but I want to play this clip that we found last time about Bill Murray. Bill Murray, I guess, calls Kelly Lynch's husband every time Roadhouse is on TV, and does like this weird voice and says like, Patrick Swayze's banging your husband, like as if he's like somebody that's not Bill Murray. So because that got brought up, I have to play this clip again.
Yeah, do it.
Came right before Drugstore Cowboy. Okay. Like literally, I wrapped Roadhouse and went right into Drugstore Cowboy. It was like such a funny.
Were those in the movie theater at the same time?
Pretty much, yeah.
So one minute you're in Gus Van Sant, another one.
Two completely different fan sets. Although I do have the ironic Roadhouse people who love Roadhouse for the for the fun of it, that are also Drugstore Cowboy fans, but they're usually different groups of people.
Right.
But I like the crossover fans the best.
What of Roadhouse?
It was fantastic. I mean, it was one of the best times I've ever had. First of all, I mean, Sam Elliott and Patrick Swayze. Oh my
For
God.
nothing like the Patrick Swayze is the nicest guy on planet Earth. Like the sweetest, nicest guy.
Everybody loved him. He was super funny. And you know, how many guys are ballerinas and quarterbacks?
It's true.
Played football.
Because he was Mr. Dirty Dancing already by the time that he stepped on the set of Roadhouse.
He was. And you know, just a really great athlete. And you know, he kind of inspired me when I did Charlie's Angels. He did all of his own stunts, and Cameron Diaz and I did all of our stunts except for one drop from a bell tower that they wouldn't let us do. But we were like determined to do everything. And I watched Patrick work so carefully on all of his stunts and everything. And it made it fun. That part of the fun of the movie is knowing that that's Patrick fighting, you know, Marshall Teague as well, as opposed to two stunt guys.
Sure. Kelly Lynch here on the Rich Eisen show. And so it's on, Roadhouse is on probably right now.
It is on
somewhere
right now.
in like Bucharest, right?
Somewhere in the world. Roadhouse is playing. Yes, everywhere, somewhere.
Is it true the Murray brothers call your husband every time it's on, or they see it every time it's on? Is that a true story?
That is a true story.
Can you explain the genesis of this story and how often it happens?
Well, it started with Bill Murray. I think Bill had never really seen Roadhouse all the way through and watched it one day years and years ago, and it came to the love scene. And basically what it was that upset him was that I was getting thrown against what looks like a very painful rock wall. And he thought it was hilarious. Exactly. That, and quite honestly, I did have quite a bit of padding behind me. I just want to tell that to the fans.
Yeah.
I did. No blood was shed. But yeah, I am kind of hitting that wall, and it does look painful. So he thought he should call my husband up, and he disguised his voice, which never works because you can tell it's Bill Murray. And he was like, Patrick Swayze is doing something with your wife on a rocky wall. You might want to turn your TV on. It was like, you know, so we thought it was like a one-off. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And then it came to a time where he was like in Russia. And so the time difference was a little upsetting in LA. He calls my husband to say again. And then all of a sudden his brothers started calling.
Like Brian Doyle Murray?
Yeah. There's about 30,000 Murray brothers.
I know, I was about to say.
And there's a nun. So far, she hasn't gotten involved, but I don't know if she has a TV.
So Bill Murray's sitting in Russia, turns his television on.
And there I am.
Roadhouse is on.
Roadhouse is on.
And he's still keeping this tradition going.
Yeah, he is. He's doing it. And in fact, I'm watching Anthony Bourdain, who I love. I'm watching his show, and he's in Charleston, and Bill Murray's on the show, and they talk about it on things. It's like, oh my God.
While eating like frog's legs or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Your wife's getting slammed up against the wall by Patrick Swayze. She's not putting up much of a fight. And then hang up.
As if anybody doesn't know it's him, but yeah, I love that.
You don't know me.
Yeah.
Garfield, why are you calling?
I didn't notice this the first time, but he says my buddy's wife is in that, and he plays the doctor. And the other guy at the table with Anthony Bourdain is like, yeah, so hot.
It's got to get that in there, right?
Yeah.
Settle.
But
you know, earlier I was talking about this movie, and I accidentally said Patrick Stewart instead of Patrick Swayze. So I've been like reimagining the lines of this film, you know, said by Patrick Stewart.
Pain don't hurt.
Pain don't hurt. Tacos.
I would look, if I was like an idle billionaire like Elon Musk or something, I would pay for a remake of Roadhouse starring Patrick Stewart, especially Patrick Stewart today.
It's the
And his best friend with Ian McKellen.
Scene for scene.
Yes.
Yo.
The two of them together. Amazing.
Scene for scene remake. The remake nobody requested? No, the remake everybody needed.
But Marina, I wanted to get your thoughts on it too. Andy, do you want to re-put out the question just because it's been like a good 10 minutes?
Yeah, we watched the whole TV show in between.
Yeah, because we ended the previous episode where I brought up how the camera doesn't linger on any of the female nudity, but boy does it linger on Patrick Swayze.
Right.
And why shouldn't it?
It actually makes me feel a little dirty and not in a good way.
I don't know. Okay, so I've never seen this movie. This was the first time that I've seen it. And I was just so surprised. I guess I shouldn't be because it is the 80s. And it was like a very homoerotic time to be like a male sex symbol. It was like hair bands were very like all the leather, all the tight pants. Like it's okay, like very so this juxtaposed to this like macho persona that he's trying to give off, and the way that it's everybody is staring at his body. It's the camera is always just stuck on his glistening, rippling abs. It's so homoerotic when it turns to other men like glaring him down, or the scene that made me just like absolutely cackle was when he's working out and the farmer's just like brushes his hair back like an ingenue.
I forgot about that. That's so good. Yeah.
And then it also zooms in on the villain in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
As well, yeah.
And he's watching. He's like on a lawnmower watching him as he's
yeah.
It's a primetime activity in that town.
It was, just for me, this is like a homoerotic relic of the past. Like this is a movie for bisexuals, by bisexuals. Like everybody wants Patrick Swayze. Everybody wants to be Patrick Swayze. It's also like, it's just really funny, like having like being like a gender fluid person and having my own relationship to like masculinity that, often joking, like if I were to start transitioning, like taking hormones, I would be a very short man. I'm only 5'5", and it's just like, this is a movie like for trans men. like you're walking into the bar, it's like so campy. He's walking in everywhere, and everyone's just like, I thought you would be bigger. Like that's exactly the vibe that I want to be giving off if I start testosterone. Like. So
I think Tom Cruise is that height too. By the way, I'm not positive. I'm pretty sure.
Is he or shorter?
For manlets by manlets.
I just find it funny that Danny Trejo is like that height.
Yeah, it's a powerful height.
Oh, seriously?
But Danny Trejo, I feel like it's different. It's different when you're like
he's also mega badass.
Giant ass Latino guy covered in tattoos that's like ready to fucking bulldoze through people.
He's like Grimly from Lord of the Rings, right? I would not fuck with that dwarf. That dwarf.
It's also like it's like a body. It's like a body type thing. Like I'm not like a very beefy kind of person. I don't have a barrel chest, so it's like
like I'm 5'8", which is like short for Americans, but thanks to the Japanese is actually I'm
tall to me.
But I'm all torso, which makes it very hard to like shop for pants because I got kind of stubby legs. So yeah, like it is all about body type for that kind of thing. But it is, I think that, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt the point because I think it's a good one. But like things like I used to fuck guys like you in prison. It was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Where did? Okay,
like
noted.
I don't remember what Kevin Smith movie it is, but one of them is like. He grabs him and he says, I used to fuck guys like you in prison. I think it's Jay from Jay and Silent Bob is like, you used to fuck guys in prison or something like. I don't know. They took that line because that is a weird line.
It's a bizarre. It's the weirdest line. Even if everything else in the movie wasn't weird, it's like what?
Even if every character in this was openly gay and it wasn't just homoerotic, it would still be a weird line.
Right. It was definitely like. It really takes you out of the fact that they're fighting to the death because it's so campy. It's so campy. Like I was half convinced. I was like, is this on purpose? Like meant to be this, or are they making fun of like these action movies? There's no way that this was a serious attempt because this is so fucking funny.
Yeah,
I feel like.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, Conan.
I was gonna say that's what I think gives it its endearing quality, and I think it's because it's a bit of both, frankly, and like in that way that only '80s movies can pull off.
Right.
So Renee, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say like my dad is a tough like AC/DC kind of guy, like that, and like all of his mates are all motorbike riding, drinking, but it's the most serious movie as hell to them. It is not funny. It's like serious, like. And that's where I feel like it's that generation of like really bizarre toxic masculinity where, and it goes again with that, like what you were saying with the homoerotic sort of thing. It's like men like wanting to be like another man or, and like that whole competition. And not to mention there's also that competition like about ownership when it comes to Kelly Lynch's character. Like, she's sort of just a thing to own in this film. Like, essentially, you've got the villain who is just this total dick and asshole because he got turned down by her. And
also,
then
was weirdly kind of like a weird stand-up comedian too, or something. Like, he has like this way about him that he's like throwing out lines, and they're like witty lines, and it's like, this doesn't feel like you're a villain. I'm laughing here. Like,
he seems like a kind of weird, and he also
Curb Your
does,
Enthusiasm episode gone wrong. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and he doesn't have he's not like a pretty guy. You know, you've got Patrick Swayze is the next guy. Wouldn't you just let it go if you were him? What's fighting for this girl? Like, clearly I'm not going to win. Like,
well, maybe he's Joker-fied a little bit. You know, he's like the incel guy that's like, oh my God, Patrick Swayze getting laid. He's getting laid.
He's like the incel guy before they even thought of the term. Like, he spends the entire film trying to ruin this guy's life. And it like essentially comes back to the fact that he's got the chick that he wants. And then he's just like, from there, it's like, I hate you for everything. And it's just like, you know, the whole film is essentially an angry old incel going nuts. And then you've got Patrick Swayze, who's all like, just so ridiculously should be a gay man. And also another thing that just came in my head was when Sam Elliott and him are in the diner. And, you know, so Dalton and Wade are there, and they're in the diner, and Wade is dancing with, I've forgotten her name in the film. I always do, but I just call her Kelly Lynch and everything. But he's being seedy and sleazy as all hell. And I'm like,
not even hyping it, not even like,
I was like,
not even doing it slightly.
My friend, if that was my friend, I'd be like, outside. Like, we got some words.
I have a note that I wrote when I was watching. I was just like, somebody told me that you have a boyfriend who looks like my boyfriend. Like, it's a polycule. It's a threesome movie.
Yeah. It's very, and she's like really into it too. Like, she seems like she's really like trying to get in on it. And it's like,
I was there with Patrick Swayze, but I mean, I don't know if you wanted to do something. I'm not, you know.
I mean,
we didn't put any labels on it.
Everybody, this is ostensibly a small town, and Kelly Lynch is Kelly Lynch, like the hot doctor. And then suddenly you have like not one but two like pretty goddamn attractive dudes come in, and you're like,
that both come into the town, like, I mean, separately, but also just they're like there in a small town, like from elsewhere, like God knows where Sam Elliott's from.
Yeah,
so you know what I mean? Like,
deal having these new hot, what do you call it, fresh meat coming in.
By the way, another thing that got brought up in the last episode was like the idea that like a bouncer has a mentor. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the idea that like some guy is out there that's like
one of the funniest things I've
training bouncers.
So amazing. And it goes back to my central thesis point of, and I adore this movie to the core of my being, but that is not how bouncers work.
No.
Like in any way, shape, or form.
I think we talked about it, Conan, and I was just like, there is no, like, no one, there is no famous bouncers.
There's no such animal. Yeah, it's not a thing that happens ever at any time. Not even like it doesn't happen now and it happened in the 80s. No, it didn't happen in the 80s either. That was never a thing.
And even like now, like, it's considered like one of the most insignificant jobs. It's like the equivalent of being someone who like gives people parking tickets. Nobody likes the dude who does security. No one.
Nobody celebrates them. I mean, this is Black Panther for bouncers, is what it is. Black Panther for bouncers. I'm gonna stand by that.
There's that one guy, the Blade dude on Twitter.
Wakanda forever, by the
way. But there's like this bouncer in like a leather trench coat, security hat, security shirt. He's got like a katana, 5 or 6 knives, some guns. I don't know what's going on in the photo. But if you go on my Twitter, you can find it.
Yeah, because I mean, I think first when I first like rewatched it, I was like, is this just an American thing that you guys have? Like, is it like? I was like, is it like, because our bars back
we
then,
do a lot of weird shit.
Yeah, like our bars.
Maybe it's an Australian thing, is what I thought.
No. we just like even I mean Patrick Swayze, what the fuck is
Yeah, they
he
said
wearing?
take it out back. You know what I mean? Like they're taking it to the outback.
And a button shirt as a bouncer.
You're getting your ass beat by a man in high-waisted white dress pants. Like, there is no way. There's just no way.
And he's also like the bit that gets me is when he's all like he's all straight edge and doesn't drink. And you know, he's all like leany and judgy against everybody against the counter. And the bit when he's all like be nice, and then he like and bloody punches and bangs on everyone.
Well, until it's time to not be nice.
Because you know, he's the one that comes in when it's time not to be nice anymore. But I worked at a bar as a bouncer as like one of the first jobs I ever had. I worked at a like a local club bar thing that like played a lot of EDM and whatever for like 4 months.
I mentored him.
No, but like the manager at the bar that I worked at was a lot like Patrick Swayze's character in Roadhouse. Not in the sense of like the fighting part. That never happened. But like he would like he would sneakily like creep up on people that were working for him and like be watching them with his like eyes narrowed, and you'd look back and you'd see him, and he was exactly the kind of dude that was like, "You're out of here," like, you know what I mean? So like I kept thinking about that experience, and he was a nice guy besides that, but like he took the whole like, you know, being the head like the manager of the bar really seriously, and he would do the Patrick Swayze thing where you would be like doing something like, I don't know, like doing something and like kind of fucking around at work, and you would see him just like standing behind you like he did, like this, with his like eyes narrowed. So I saw that and I was like, I don't know if he took that from Patrick Swayze or if it just happens to be that like I knew a guy, you know, that he had the same kind of mannerisms, but like I thought that was pretty funny.
Down for magical realism.
Well, I worked in a bar as a bar manager for like 4 years. It was like this huge bar here in Oz. Probably like 4 or 5 times bigger than the Deuce. And we had like a team of like 10 security. Like we don't really call them bouncers here. Like it's like security or like dude on the door. Like, it's really not important to us.
Wait, so is dude on the door to bouncer what bikey is to biker then?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Marina, did you know that? That's what they call the dudes who ride motorcycles. They call it in Australia. They call them bikies.
Bikey. That sounds like a slur.
It does sound like a slur.
Biker sounds
allowed to say that.
I don't know. Biker to me sounds even weirder. But yeah, bikie.
Yeah, you got the hard R in it. Yeah.
You call it they're bikey gangs.
He didn't even call me a bikey. He used the hard R and everything.
Gave him the hard R, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so
I don't.
I don't either.
Is that what racists call it when they're like, when they give it to somebody good? They're like, oh yeah, like I gave her the hard R last night.
Well, clearly the hard R is Roadhouse, so take of that what you will.
Family Guy.
So security wore Roadhouse. Like, super, you know, they wore like uniforms, and they aren't given this superpower like Patrick Swayze where they can just bash the shit out of anyone at any given time. Like there's like laws and stuff over here about that. Like, so
there's not any in rural Missouri for sure. I've been there.
There's no like you can't do that. Like all a bouncer can do is like restrain you. Like so, we used to have like at least 2 huge brawl fights like out the front of the bar every like Friday night and Saturday night, and like you would just have 3 security guys just like sitting on a dude. Like, and that's like, that would be the answer pretty much always. Like, they aren't allowed to fist fight or do anything. They don't carry weapons. They don't, like it's super, it's like not a glamorous.
Yeah, no, well, like, bouncers really don't carry weapons in general. There's no, you couldn't find a bouncer that like has a fucking, I mean, maybe some people are like hard ass enough that they have like a knife in their pocket or something just in case things get bad. But like, that's not a bouncer thing. That's just like that.
No,
person.
no.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no.
100% not. I think this kind of pitches my theory about Roadhouse that I kind of started on last Roadhouse episode, where I just think it's like a Western. It's like a Western when things have failed, like at the end of the Reagan era, so much that like there's no glorifying a sheriff. There's no glorifying like all of these different positions that like somebody could ride into town and just do. Like, so they're like kind of out of options, but they want to make a Western. So it's like they've run out of options to the point they're going down a list and they're like, oh, well, I guess Bouncer is like badass enough that we could have a bouncer that rides into town like a sheriff and, you know, and then tries to like fix the whole town, but they could just start with the bar, I guess. And they're like, they realize there's a seedy element and there's like a guy in town that, you know, like all of it is like these Western tropes, like the guy who kind of runs the town that's corrupt, that has to be fought off, that, you know, he's the big person in town that's bringing in all of like the corporations and stuff. But like at the same time, there's like the villains riding behind him, which he has all these henchmen and stuff in this. And so it's like a Western movie, but like things have failed so much that nobody wants to see a movie about cops. Nobody wants to see a movie. There's been so many of them. Nobody wants a cowboy anymore. So it's like, what can we really bring to the table that people haven't seen before? And it's like, all right, well, what if he's just a bouncer? And what if we kind of use this like term for a bouncer, that he's not just a regular bouncer, because that's just the guy sitting on the stool that, you know, when he first gets there. What if we call him a cooler? And all of a sudden he's like cooling down the town. And it's definitely like a cocaine pitch for a movie. Like,
and he's making the town way hotter just by being there, to be clear. So it's being a terrible job of being a cooler.
This town needs to cool down a little bit. Bring him in.
There's also so many things in the story that like could have made this a better film and less comical that they just never even touched on either. Like all the like subtle hinting about the fact that he killed somebody, and then there's no real, like there's all these story
no
arcs
big deal.
that made it a good film.
Thursday,
like,
you know, whatever.
Yeah, it was like, oh, he was all like, Wade's like, you know, get over it, like, you know, and he's all like sad face.
Tore a dude's throat out, you know, whatever.
You know, it's like we never talk about it. Then there's that scene which I still find now. I'm like me and my male housemate watching it together, and both of us looked at each other and went, "Dude, that's fucked. How come no one said anything at the time?" And it was like there's that scene where Patrick goes over to the villain's house. He walks in, and the villain's partner is doing aerobics, and she's clearly had the shit kicked out of her. It's like domestic violence, like just a little, and he just sort of goes, makes a smile kind of face, and then walks on. And then we never talk about it or hear about it again. It was like, I get it, but what was the point of the scene?
Adding to the villainy, right? Like this is the guy that's so villainous that he beats the shit out of, you know, the woman, like his whatever woman's living.
It takes away Patrick's hero like story, because I feel like that was a moment where he could have done something and been rad, and he just walked on by because he's too busy with other bloke. You know what I mean? I'm like, either have the scene or don't have the scene if you're not going to address.
Maybe we need a rowdy cut.
The
rowdy cut.
So the rowdy cut. Technically, it's all the rowdy cut because he was the director. But
let's get rowdy.
Brought to you by Rowdy Energy.
You know what's funny? The first time I ever saw that Rowdy Energy exists was in Texas when I was there in June.
That's the least surprising thing you've ever said. Absolutely makes sense. I think that so, and I don't want to keep interrupting, but it's kind of what I do. Renee, I think you hit on an important point that scene bothered me too, because I'm like, what the fuck? Like clearly you're like, you know, Mr. like White Knight, you know, what shit kicker Yojimbo, as we established in the other episode. Yeah. Like, and you're just gonna let that slide? That's fine. That's just in the pantheon of villainy of Ben Gazzara. No,
that's what I was like. All these people
it's against, it doesn't make any sense. It's against his character.
Yeah, his character.
If you stop and think about this story as like a thing based on logic, which you should never do.
No. But if
maybe you should, because he's a fucking philosopher. We haven't even touched on that. He's right. A guy with a philosophy degree, and yet there's no logic to this story.
Bring Ben Burgess on to talk about the philosophy of Roadhouse.
The story doesn't need Patrick Swayze; it needs Ben Burgess. Ben Burgess's Roadhouse.
Oh, that's the remake. Instead of Patrick Stewart, we'll get Ben Burgess in the Patrick Swayze role. But instead of punching people in the face, he'll just debate them.
He just gets them in a logic chokehold, and it's like, I guess we're leaving. I guess we're leaving this town. Here's 5 reasons why this town is big enough for the both of us. Okay. I don't want to see a 45-minute video about it, so I'm just going to assume it's true and move on to a different town.
was gonna say that scene, the bit like sort of kind of the big finale, sort of towards the end, when he's by the river and he's fighting that guy, and he's just going nuts with that guy, and it's like, oh yeah, he's totally gonna kill this dude, and Doc is just like screaming at him like a maniac, like don't go. I'm like, I felt like saying like, this is, you know, not PC or whatever, but I felt like saying like, bitch, do you want him to die? He's either gonna die or survive. Make up your mind. And then near the end of the movie, she's all like, boom, and it's like, she totally did a 360 and was like, at the end, she's all like pro killing. And when that was happening, she was like grumpy because he did it. I was like, well, do you love this guy or not? You said that, you know, I was just so confused by that, because I would have been, if that was my partner, I would have been like, fucking kick his ass. He's about to kill him.
Yeah.
And she's like, don't do it. And it's like, well, if he doesn't do it, he's going to kill him.
How do you think this shakes out?
To be fair to Kelly Lynch's character in this, anybody that gets fucked up, she's going to have to stitch up. So, like, you know what I mean? Because she's the local doctor. So maybe she's thinking about it in terms of like, hey, I don't really want to be involved in this. You know, make less work for me.
Yeah, I just think, yeah, she wants the bad way, but she doesn't want what comes with it. Do you know what I mean? She's like, nah.
The bad boy, but not the baggage is what she wants.
Yeah, exactly. She just wants, you know, a nudie butt walking around, like, look at me doing yoga.
Yeah,
like Carmela in The Sopranos.
Sunshine, run on. Like, not for 1 second have I ever saw or known a bouncer who walks around naked, has a philosophy degree, does yoga, and like all these other ridiculous things. Like, it's men born after 1945 can't cook. All they know is have philosophy degree, bouncer, eat McDonald's. Also, like, well, I don't understand why.
Do Tai Chi and fight.
And raw dog denim.
Yeah.
No one in this town wears underwear.
There's no underwear in this town. None.
That is one of the most important observations for this episode, because ow. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, ow.
Absolutely.
I mean, when the girl who's a terrible singer, worst singer ever, she's the one that gets up and she's like, and the guy's like, I didn't know she can sing. She fucking sounds like shy. And like that, when she goes over to visit him, and she's like, Downton, let's go. And he like just gets out of bed butt naked. And he's just standing there like, I'm like, oh, you narcissistic prick. Like, who do you think you are? Like, he's just like, this, you know.
And that's the woman that he doesn't want to fuck. Like, he makes it clear that he doesn't want to fuck her. And he's still like, but look at this fat ass.
Look at this you can't touch.
Yeah, it's what you can't have, right? Like, I'm not going to give this to you.
You cannot have this.
It's like, he's just like, here, look at what you can't have. Like, weird. But like, yeah,
they needed that JCPenney to get underwear to their small town.
Well, yeah, because like that's like the sex scene. Like, it's like he puts on that music, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna kill myself. At that point, I would have walked out if a guy put that piece of shit on. And then he just like goes towards her, grabs her. They've both got no underwear on, and he just shove it in there. Hope you like it. 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's like the least erotic sex scene ever, and which is surprising considering they're like, you have two sex symbols in a relentlessly horny movie.
Exactly.
And like that sex scene is like, who fucking has whoever put this together? Have they ever seen or actually participated in a sexual act before?
Yeah, because it was just so like, it was like a teenage boy getting his dick wet for the first time, and you know.
I gotta agree with Kenzo. The scene with Kyle MacLachlan having sex in the pool is the least sexual sex scene of all time. He just starts fucking waterboarding her in Showgirls.
I felt like I was getting waterboarded watching it, frankly.
I don't even remember that film. I blocked it out. It was
exactly.
So bad.
It's a traumatic event. You should block it from memory.
I watched it for the first time a couple weeks ago, and I was really hoping to.
He hasn't been the same since.
I was really hoping to have Gab on this panel I guess she had stuff come up and she couldn't be on. But I was really hoping to get her take on Roadhouse because we had her defending defending Showgirls.
Some we'll say the other film, the Demi Moore one, I probably like. That's a better film than Showgirls. Like, what's that one called?
Striptease.
Yeah, that's way better than Showgirls. And
I don't
Demi
wanna talk
Moore
about
looks fierce. Like,
let's get the fuck off this topic onto something else, please.
You know what's really funny? Our Showgirls episode has like 900 views because Kenzo tweeted out on like his big account, and then none of our other episodes, like literally, that's the only one that has that many views. So it's like more people have seen our Showgirls episode than any of the other episodes that we've done.
I'm not surprised.
That's the internet for you. Marina, what do you think about all that?
I don't know. I haven't seen Showgirls.
No, not Showgirls.
What were we talking about? I forgot.
I know. Well, yeah. Well, I like so
the love scene from
the love scene.
The love scene.
The sexless love scene. Yeah.
Love scene, and then also like the fact that Swayze's character sees domestic abuse by the Ben Gazzara character, and it's sort of like, oh, that blows. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't watch this for the writing. It's clear that there's some development. This is a Patrick Swayze exploitation film. Is really like what it is. But also like it's more, I don't know, there's more like tension between him and Sam Elliott. There's more chemistry between him and Sam Elliott. They don't even fuck.
But they should have. And I feel like they kind of wanted to at some part in their life. They're like,
they definitely fuck. That's why he calls that's why he calls Patrick Swayze D-ho. That's not what you're saying.
You know, there's so much slash fiction about that, by the way. Like just like gigabits of it, gigabytes, whatever. Fuck it, I'm drunk.
We should be reading it right now.
I'm sorry. I went to a convention, a sci-fi convention a while back, and I remember I was actually surprised by like there were just the dealer's room had this table, and it was just stacked full of nothing but slash fiction for sale. And I'm just like, people buy it? I just thought you got it for free off the internet.
Yeah, don't you just go to like really specious looking BBSs and download it? Oh, that's his
anyway.
name.
We interrupted Marina. We interrupted Marina going off.
Of course, we're dudes. We're gonna interrupt women. It's what we do.
Yeah, how like I want like a gayer version of this in movie. It doesn't feel complete because it's trying to pass as a heterosexual macho man film, and it's just so.
I'm out of the closet, Roadhouse.
I mean, it feels to me, so tagging that point, it feels to me like it's almost like you look at those like Hays Code movies, right? Where they try to tell you for all the world, like, yo, they fucking, right? But like that you can't say that and you can't even like outwardly show it. So they show you everything up to it. We're like, I know what's going on here.
Yeah.
And like that's how it feels to me. But like that's only like it's one of like 10 things in this movie. Whereas some movies be like, that would be the thing. Oh, well, that's the movie that does that. There's so much here. Like it's almost like someone's like, hey, first of all, pass me another line. Secondly, let's add in some more weird shit into this movie. Like it's like that's basically what it is.
Sam Elliott has his own mentor, and it's a turkey. And then
we're gonna bring in fucking Sam Elliott, but we're not gonna do it till the movie's like halfway over, and he's gonna be like his bouncer mentor, who is also famous, and is gonna come help him clean up the town. Great,
Sam Elliott. Sam Elliott has to call his mentor Bill Cosby, but remember it's 1989, so you're still allowed to. So he has to ride in and save the town as well. So it's Bill Cosby, Sam Elliott, and Patrick Swayze together, as like a grandparent, parent, son, team ready to save the town.
It's messed up, and he could also the like one of the funny like the bits that like maybe it was I was just like at the ending I was like, so we went through all of that and he could have shot the villain at any time. He lives across the lake from him. Like this was like 50 minutes extra film that could have been ended. Like there was no like why
so he could throw a spear at him clearly.
No, but like he could have got a gun.
Homoerotic tension.
Yeah,
You know,
numerous
like
times
put a spear at
he
him.
do that, and then he'd be like, "I'm angry. I'm gonna go climb a fucking rope," like that. Like, okay, let's watch him climb a rope like in gym for no reason, and then
Oh, there's a reason.
like, well, it's just like
Getting
ways.
off. That's the reason.
Like, yeah, it was weird, and I was just thinking like, this guy's actually a shit bouncer, and he's kind of a dumb dude because, like, we spent all this time, and he could have just gone and killed the guy ages ago. He just dragged.
He should have just been a philosopher, you know.
Well, yeah,
He
like,
could have been debating Charlie Kirk right now.
who even uses like? I mean, at this period of time in like where it's meant to be Midwest America or whatever, who the hell is like, I've got a philosophy degree and walking around touting about it in a town full of rednecks who would not have any interest whatsoever in such a comment? But like, it's also so weird that someone just picked that. It's like, you can be violent.
I have one joke to make, and then I have a question for Marina. The one joke to make is I really think it's hilarious when Sam Elliott's giving him like a pep talk about like the killing that he did, and he's like, I would think you would be a little more philosophical about it.
Yeah.
What in the name of fuck does that mean? Exactly.
Any of the lines mean we're gonna be nice until we're not nice.
I was hoping
Marina,
it was like
did you say that this was the first time you watched it for this
Yes,
episode?
this is the first time I've ever seen it.
So something that we didn't mention, and that I've seen like parts of it, but I don't think I've watched the entire thing until we did this the first podcast, like the first episode of it. And so do you think did you feel anything watching it at the same time like the Rittenhouse trial was happening? Where it's literally like another kind of like, because the whole like there's that subplot in it where he's murdered a guy, and the whole time they're like, oh, it was self-defense, and then the Ben Gazzara character is implying it was murder, it wasn't self-defense. And then there just feels like there was some interesting parallels, and then kind of rooting for Patrick Swayze felt kind of weird while kind of reading tweets about like Kyle Rittenhouse like in his trial and being like, yeah, fuck that self-defense shit, and then being like, oh yeah, with Patrick Swayze it was totally self-defense. I don't know.
Patrick Swayze is attractive. That's the difference.
Right.
Yeah, but the judge did want to fuck Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess for me, like the thing that kind of piqued my interest and I was like, oh, this is kind of weird, is when he is like going through at the beginning and kind of like picking people to fire for like selling drugs or like fucking in the closet, and it's like, okay, these are like, why are you on the boss's side? You feel like this is very cop behavior, you know, like
because it's supposed to be a cop movie that just, they couldn't, you know.
Yeah,
this happens to be about famous bouncers instead.
Well, no, because I think that there really is a Reagan era element to this. He like, you know, he's like, you've gotten rich off the people in this town, and he's like, you bet your ass I have, and I'm gonna get richer. I believe we all have a purpose on this earth, the destiny, and I have faith in that destiny. And he's talking about how, you know, he came up from nothing, and now he's brought all these like big companies to the town. And it feels like there's kind of a Reagan era message to that, which is that, you know, I mean, and it's not the right message, like, you know, from like a socialist perspective at all, but it's like this populist, the small business owners, like it is in the Western movie, the small business owners are correct. That class of people are going to keep their town the way it is. This guy is kind of a developer that's bringing these big corporations in. This rich guy, we're going to take down the rich guy and save our town, which is a very, I think, Reagan era New Left message, in the sense of like, you know, the New Left couldn't organize for shit. So like the most they could really do is kind of pass off these like, listen, small business is good and big business is bad, and we need to be more philosophical about this. And that's the enemy. So it's like this class message that doesn't add up to anything. But I do think that it's a product of its time for that reason, which is also the reason that they couldn't have the cops as or like a sheriff as the good guy. It has to be like something that's not related to the government or the law at all. In fact, the law is corrupt, and now like a bouncer has to come save the town.
Yeah. I mean, like I think we covered that pretty adequately in the last episode, but you know, this ties nicely into the fetishization of the small business owner as heroic figure, but then also the Ben Gazzara character is very clearly in black and white terms the villain too. So I think there's nuance there that I could not possibly get that point in when Jake Flores was on the show, but I wanted to mention now because I think that that's important. And it's sort of also like, I don't want to sound reductive. Nobody was thinking about that when they made this movie. No one was. I mean, it's accidental. It's just a product of its time in that way. That's what it is.
I would agree that nobody was thinking about that in terms of the greed messaging of it, right?
The greed messaging that makes sense. Yeah.
We've talked about this a lot on across different podcasts, but like the fact that in the 80s they really couldn't pass off any kind of class-based message at all, and like they kind of got down to greed is bad, greed has kind of fucked us over. Small business is good. And that's kind of as far as they could really take that line of thinking at the time.
Then also you have the boss of the Deuce, who's clearly a greedy bastard. The only reason he wants Patrick Swayze there is so he can have this bustling bar with all those lines of people out the front. So he is a product of that himself. That's the only reason he wants Patrick Swayze there, so he can create this big business for, that. So he needs to get rid of all these bad seeds so he can bring the mainstream in and start making money.
Yeah, bring in JCPenney. Yeah, exactly. I everyone underwear.
No more chicken. He's causing gentrification to a small Missouri town.
Well, like maybe you should also get a new band to play, because the one that's maybe try having different bands play for starters.
Instead of just Jake Healy band literally every night.
Every night. And everyone was always going nuts, and it's like they've played one song. It's like bands, all these movies, they play one song, and it's like that's the concert. It's like
Coochie Woman.
So Renee, one of my secret musical goals is to be in a movie of some sort where I am in that band, and there's people flipping out in the way. It's a scene like that where there's people unnaturally freaking out after you play one song for the purposes of the movie. Like The Crow has that too, right? Like all kinds of these movies have that. We're like, come on, it's one song, man. Like you haven't even gotten your beer yet.
Every horror film always has it as well. It's like they play one song and they don't even finish the one song, and everyone's like, wow.
Yeah, flipping out, hanging from the rafters.
Everyone in the next couple towns has heard the one song. Really sounds great. So they're all coming to hear the one song. This band actually wants to expand to more psychedelic music. They want to increase their skills, really genre bend, and it's like let's hear that one song.
How does the band guy know about Dalton? He's Dalton.
No, because they worked at the same bar.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Where's that prequel? Starring Patrick Stewart.
It's just that band is horrendous. They're quite shit. And also it's just there's a lot of things you could have done to fix your bar, dude. A lot of things. We
should play this again. There's the Jeff Healy talking about it, the guy that was in the band, because that's his actual band, and he's actually
he's actually blind and actually Canadian.
I know. Yes. My housemate told me, says I was watching it, and I was like, "Yeah, but he's still shitty in this movie."
So this is
the same band in Dusk Till Dawn.
I'm so glad you got to get that in, because that's a nice little that's a nice factoid.
Factoid.
Yes.
It's a factlet.
Wondered why is it that men go to bars, and get away from their wife and kids or whatever, and go to bars, and if the stuff doesn't break out, if fights don't break out by midnight, they start fighting between themselves because there's something in their inside they have to release. I think I decided that I wanted to do Dalton and Roadhouse. Well, number one, I love the premise. It's like a modern day Western, and who would care about the life of a bouncer in the first place? But the twist was a bouncer with a degree in philosophy.
737 coming out of the sky. Won't you take me down to Memphis on a midnight ride? I wanna move.
we just lucked out finding Jeff Healey, and being a blind guitar player, plus finding a Jeff Healey with a great deal of talent.
The script called for a young blind guitar player in a blues rock band who played flat on his lap, and so we were quite amazed. And after some investigation, found out it wasn't, you know, as purely coincidental as it seemed. It was the writer for the book was from Toronto and had seen the band a couple of times. So sort of what goes around comes around. It worked out very nicely.
The guy's been working his brains out in Canada for his whole life. Now all of a sudden his career, I mean, even before Roadhouse has come out, so, you know, he's like passing the test. There's not just because of a movie that this guy's music is happening, it's because of him as an artist.
I think all three of us really are going to, you know, have a hard time believing that we did it until we walk into the movie theater and see it.
Thanks, man. So you played pretty good for a blind white boy.
Yeah, and I thought you'd be bigger.
I love that, like, that isn't just a thing in the movie. That's apparently something that everybody says to Patrick Swayze's character. And like that's his, oh yeah, well that's the thing that everyone says to him. Like he was on that show that one time. And like what? Like no, why would that be?
Also Jeff Healey said until we go into the movie theater and see it.
Yeah.
So,
which you kind of didn't see, dude. But anyway.
Yeah, I don't want to be the one to break it to you, but
yeah,
not to be ableist, but ...
Yeah. But before they said that they actually seen Jeff Healey play, it was like, yeah, who thought of the character? We need a guy who plays slide guitar on his lap and he's blind.
Like, and if you don't have that, there's no movie.
Yeah, open casting call.
You can't have this movie.
It's the only way that the studio will greenlight it.
And he can't pretend to be blind. He needs to be blind as well.
He needs to be actually blind. The producers are really into authenticity. Marina, what did you think about the music? Did you like the Jeff Healey band? Did you think it worked in the film?
I liked it. You know, it had its little kind of like the soundtrack throughout the whole film was fun because it was just like a fun little bop the whole time. But I did really appreciate the continued slide guitar that we're
they were really just pushing that one single, which, you know.
Yeah, the one song.
If you ever lived in a small town where somebody breaks out and has like a single that gets like, you know, local radio play or something, they'll play that into the ground.
Yeah, it's weird. Like the residencies, like they happen like maybe once a week or something. I've never, but in movies they seem to happen. Yeah, every day, at the exact same time, forever. Like. Very weird.
Seemingly endless slide guitar solo. How do you feel about that? And I feel like we touched upon this in the last episode at least a little bit. But yeah, the actress. I'm not entirely. God damn it, Kenzo. I don't remember the character's name, but the sort of like she was like what was it, assistant bar manager. Anyway, the chick that like sings with the band, it's never given any explanation as to like why that's happening or for who that's for. But
she's just the thought that hangs out in the bar. They all
She starts out as a waitress. You see her in the beginning scenes. She's a waitress.
But like that's an unresolved, like it was like, was there more to that plot that they just didn't show? Oh, and like
look, the ugly girl has talent.
That's all we need, the rowdy cut.
The rowdy cut, yeah. Release the rowdy cut. Release the rowdy cut.
Oh, it's kind of like she was supposed to be like the cool chick who liked Patrick Swayze but couldn't have him because she's not the hot Dr. Blonde, you know, but then they kind of just didn't follow it through or something. You know, because like the scene with her going to his apartment, it seemed as though they were setting that up as them being friends. And then he just decides to flash her like and be like, you can't have it. It's like, and then that's the end of that whole thing. Like, and it's all about.
She plays her song. The song takes off. The whole town's talking about it. People are talking.
All you need is the
about it.
one. Apparently, I've been doing it wrong my entire musical career. Just write
You
one
only
song.
need one song, and you play that one song, Conan.
Damn it. I know.
The same
You
venue.
You also got to be blind or ugly.
Fuck. I've been doing it wrong for that too.
Yeah, I think that a lot of the weirdness of this movie in some parts, I mean, not to keep harping on this like Western point, but like I feel like in all the cowboy movies I've seen and like all the Western movies I've seen, they kind of just like sprinkle it through with all of these townspeople every single time. They're like just quirky townspeople. And it feels like in this movie they tried to do that, but because it's not a Western, it like they just kind of had weird people in this town for no reason. So it's like, so it made it weird. But I think that if it was in the context of a Western, like every fucking John Wayne movie I've ever watched, I'm just like, oh right, there's just like these small business owners that are kind of weird, and like the one guy that's like, isn't it funny how money seems to put you in the good graces of the church, like that guy, and like, you know what I mean? Like there's all these like just random people in this town, and I don't question it when it's like a John Wayne movie, but like here it's weird.
Yeah, because it's completely weirdly out of context. It just seems bizarre. It's even like the way that Patrick Swayze has this really deep scope, like, what do you call it? Just scope creep, where he just like leers out his window all the time, watching what's going on at the mansion, and he's just like longingly looking over there. Like, it's like, well, what's your deal, dude? Stop scoping. You're a creep. Like they're all having a party in the pool, and he's just like pensively looking. It's like,
see, I didn't feel like that was creepy. I just felt like
I thought it was creepy as fuck because he keeps doing it repeatedly. It's like, go join the party or go kill the guy. Make up your mind, Mr.
I feel like that's kind of the class based element of it kind of searing through, right? Like he's a hardworking guy that likes to do Tai Chi and is like just kind of pensive, and then over across the river is this guy that's for some reason obsessed with Patrick Swayze because he got the girl that he likes, but still is like rich as fuck and is just having a party, and he's like disapprovingly looking at the guy because he knows that guy is kind of the one causing all of the corruption in the town. So he's like, oh, they're partying over there and causing all this corruption, and I got to come in here and kick the shit out of people for that reason. So I just felt like that was building his like class resentment, but because it's like an 80s movie, they don't really have a realization of class resentment. So it's just Patrick Swayze pensively looking over at a party.
yeah, I mean, but he does that numerous times.
Yeah,
The film. And
it builds as he gets more resentful.
Like, just do your life, man. Do your own thing. Yeah, it's a weird concept for, yeah, like the whole thing is just weird. There's no logic to it. I've never seen like, has the director ever spoken about it? Or
Yeah,
done,
we
like,
have
Rowdy Harrington? I don't believe so.
We have various Rowdy Harrington clips if you guys want to watch them.
I can't wait to see those. I'm so
You want to
curious.
hear him talk about working with?
Like, it's an idea for this film.
Do you want to hear him talking about how he worked his? They're both with Bobby Wyatt, the woman that makes every interview very awkward.
Oh, that was the same woman on what was the episode?
That was the Big Trouble in Little China.
Big Trouble in Little China, yeah. Who's just like,
and I have a clip where she drives Sam Elliott into like questioning all of his life choices, which is pretty funny. But I have Rowdy talking to her about working his way up to being a director, and I have him talking about working with Sam Elliott and Patrick Swayze, whichever one you guys want to watch.
Marina, you make the choice. You're on this show, aren't you?
Yeah, let's see the Sam Elliott and Patrick Swayze.
All right, I'm cleaning it up.
Yeah, this chick is wild, man. This is some interview.
Yeah, I mean this one she's more subdued, but I'll show you the Sam Elliott one. I didn't get to play, like I had a whole bunch of clips that I didn't get to play. You know,
it's like if you've ever seen Parks and Recreation, I feel like her show is like the local public access show they have on Parks and Recreation. Is this
yeah.
Like she interviews every single movie that came out for like the 70s and 80s. Like in the 90s, like there's an interview with her, and you can find an interview with nobody else. Like it's insane. And she drives
Central Ohio's Roger Ebert. Right.
If she was still alive, she'd have just like a podcast about cancel culture, and probably take off. She'd be fine.
Patrick, being a dancer, I should think would be a help.
Oh, it's a tremendous asset. Not only is he a dancer, but he's a martial artist. He's been doing it for years. So all the kicks and the punches and that movement is very familiar for him. And in addition to that, obviously his dance ability and studying choreography for years made him a quick study. You know, he could come in, learn the fight, and then do it over and over again in exactly the same fashion. So I don't think there's anybody in Hollywood that could have done the movie as well as Patrick did. I really don't. And you know, he did all those fights himself. And the way they look, I mean, people would think that maybe it wouldn't be him, but that is definitely him.
I've known Patrick for a long time because he's from Houston,
Right.
I'm from Dallas, Fort Worth. In watching him through the years and more recently in films, he has a fantastic screen presence, doesn't he?
It's true. It really is true. And he is really a photogenic man. The camera likes him very much. You know, you put that close up on him and he turns that profile, boy, he just looks fantastic. And you can't buy that, you know. I mean, that's just there's a power in the frame. And he's a fine actor too. And he's very committed. You know, he works very hard. And he's a gentleman.
Good combination.
Absolutely.
Rare, I
It's
should
true.
think.
It's true.
Tell me about Sam Elliott, because I don't know him except what I see on screen.
Well, he's a very natural man. He is a very friendly and warm and a very talented actor. It was a pleasure working with him, especially coming into a position of doing my first studio film, working with big actors after having done only one small film. Having the support of Sam Elliott on the set was a tremendous asset. And he was, you know, just very involved in his work, and he accepted me in my role and supported me. And I can only say good things about him. I think he's fantastic in the movie. And women, you know, they go crazy when they see him. He's a dynamic guy. Sweet, very sweet man.
Excuse me.
Also some dudes.
I think
And
he's kind of in
some
love
animals,
with Patrick
too.
Swayze. That guy.
Yeah. He's currently an
He was in love with Sam Elliott too. He was like,
Yeah, I think he kind of liked them both. He kind of made this movie to get them there.
This is
It was
slash
like a
fiction
trap.
at
It
its
was a
finest.
home trap.
do you guys want to see Bobby Winan like kind of just make Sam Elliott question all of his life choices and
Yes,
get all
please.
weird? Because this is my favorite thing about whoever the fuck, because I think she's dead now, but like my favorite thing about whoever does her YouTube channel is that they include all of the awkward they include all the awkward clips where she's kind of repeating questions or like changing the wording on questions or like making things weirder. So like you'll see like 15 minutes of her talking to somebody and then just her talking to an empty chair and just being like and like trying to rephrase the questions to make them sound better. And I don't know. So I find
And in her mind, she's like Barbara Walters, right? But it's this was. I would love to see the documentary on this woman. But yeah, go ahead.
I've always been curious. I love that screen persona you have. You know, this kind of laid back, easygoing guy who doesn't sweat the small stuff. You know, I like that. And
At least not on the outside, anyway.
You mean you get the butterflies on the
Oh,
inside?
sure.
Do you really?
Sure.
What about?
Oh, things, the same things that set anybody else off, you know. I interrupted you, excuse me. I was lacking the sound of all that.
But I love it. Great sense of humor. And what I'm getting at, Sam, is the screen persona, is that really what Sam Elliott's all about?
Boy, intellectualizing about acting is not my forte, you know.
What a cool guy.
I'm in love.
Look
more than ever.
Yeah.
Is that funny?
Yeah, sure, it's funny.
You don't want to be.
I'm happy I've had those. Yeah,
No, you look very distinguished.
thank you.
If I were a
The gray
cast,
hair, maybe.
well, that doesn't hurt anything.
No.
But nice gray Glen plaid suit,
Yeah.
and
What
no
the fuck
stubble.
kind of
no
interview is
sleeves.
this?
No clean shaven. That's it, isn't it? So you have
This
that
is the
vision.
worst, like,
Character
interview.
in the movie you saw last night.
So you could be playing some corporate executive.
Yeah.
Oh my
Imagine
God.
that.
Have you?
An actor. Maybe you can do something else, but besides a beard. No, I haven't played any corporate executives lately.
How did you and Patrick get along?
Great. I can't speak for him. He had me fooled. I liked him. He's a nice kid. I suspected that Patrick was a nice kid. He's got that air about him, you know, from an audience's standpoint. And I was intrigued to see what he was going to be like, and I wasn't disappointed. I met him before we went into production, and found him real refreshing. Found that somebody that was in the position that he was in after Dirty Dancing, having just come out and being much sought after, to say the least, by throngs of people. You know, the fact that he was nervous about it and insecure about it and afraid of it, I thought were real good indicators of what Patrick Swayze was all about.
Man, you know, in Twin Peaks, they're always like, James has always been cool. And it's like, no, he really hasn't. Sam Elliott actually has always been cool.
I'm serious. Like,
let's be clear.
That clip was hotter than anything I saw in Roadhouse. Like, I'm actually hot under the collar. Like, I would do Sam Elliott in 5 seconds flat. Like, the man, like, that's charisma. Like, that face, that cheeky grin.
He got like a pretty hilarious like resentment for a second, because she was like, "Why doesn't anyone ask you to play a corporate executive?" He's like,
yeah. Now that you mention it, yeah.
Me playing a corporate executive. Wow, that's acting.
It's just, yeah, she's the worst interview.
I love it.
It's astounding. It's hardly an interview. It's like she met him at a bar.
Yeah,
but
or
like,
a coffee shop, and she's like quoting, "When I saw your mum last, she said." Like,
no, it gets way worse than that.
Oh yeah, the Big Trouble in Little China clips blew me away, and that show was fun for a lot of reasons. But like, yeah, that was like, I was like, where did this woman come from? And
by the way, I was also in Long Island for that show, in this exact seat.
Alert fans, take notice.
But Marina, you got thoughts on this? Sorry, I feel like we were like kind of railroading the conversation.
No, it's fine. Yeah, that woman's a menace.
The Big Trouble in Little China ones were like the IDW, like Dave Rubin, like I don't know, like that whole like Ben Shapiro kind of like PC culture.
Yeah, it's harsh toke.
Yeah, it was that, but it was like John Carpenter in the seat, and she's like, so the last movie that came out with a bunch of Asian actors in it a year before, there was like these big protests, and that's ridiculous, right? It's ridiculous when people protest. Yeah, I think so too. Like,
yeah, like it's clearly this one is better because he clearly just wants to jump his bones and like, all right,
right.
We get it.
And I can give her a pass for that, because I mean, as soon as he opened his mouth, he went, "Ooh," oh, and hello. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't care. Like that's a man's voice. You know what I mean?
Don't worry. I have Bobby Wynant talking to Patrick Swayze too.
Oh yes.
Oh shit! Here we go. It's on now.
She wasn't appreciated in her time. Now I'm appreciating her by having this podcast dedicated to her interviews from the 80s.
God, her outfit.
It's astounding. I love it.
Let's talk about the last time we met, actually, was when you came to Dallas for Dirty Dancing.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, I felt like you had a real good hit on your hands. And wow, was it ever a hit?
I would have never believed it. Well, I would have believed it, but not like it, not like this. I mean, it's turned to a joke to this point. It's amazing what it's done.
What has it grossed altogether? Do you know?
I don't even know, but I know worldwide it's 200 and something million or something or more. I quit keeping track. You know, after I heard that, the soundtrack has gone platinum, and your song is moving up the charts. It's now in the top 10. It's now in the top 5. It's now, after a while you get tired of good news. You know, it's like, Oh yeah, right. I mean, I'm gonna go out and work a horse. You know, you stop jumping up and down after a while.
But that's great. And then you got the Golden Globe nomination, and everything just came up roses.
And it makes you feel so good that people still believe in old-fashioned ideals and integrity, and that the underdog can win. You know, it's not always the pretty people or this, that, or the other.
Yes. Well, I think Roadhouse is another winner for you, Patrick. I really do.
It sure feels like it. It's not going to change anybody's life necessarily, but it's a fun movie.
At this point, were you looking for a good potential commercial hit?
No. Even though you can't help but think about, you know, what commercial power any choice you make might have. I just wanted to do this kind of movie. You know, I started thinking, I thought, well, I'm 36. If I'm going to do any more dance movies, or if I'm going to do my pirate movie or my epic romantic hero or a Western or this kind of, you know, physical kind of movie, I better get them done pretty quick, you know. And so I'm just trying to bounce all over the place. You know, the biggest reason I picked Roadhouse was it was light years away and in the exact opposite direction than Dirty Dancing. And then next of kin after that is much more of a performance film. And then I'm going to do a light romantic comedy after that.
Oh, Patrick. R.I.P., buddy.
Yeah, not only it's not always the pretty people.
Yeah, that's really? It isn't?
It isn't. Are you sure? Did you check the casting?
Yeah, were you in are you talking about a different movie? Because this is some pretty fucking people.
I'm probably in the minimal percent though of the population worldwide that actually does not find Patrick Swayze remotely sexual at all. I do not
think he's that hot either.
I mean, I'm not attracted to him at all.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's Sam Elliott. He to me is the charismatic front man that should have been. He's that little butter, like, you know, that comes in. Whereas Patrick for me is kind of a bit of a pretty little flake. So I don't know, there's something about him.
1 hour and 17 minutes and 45 seconds to get the one soundbite we were trying to get with this. All right.
Can I just? I'm probably not going to get another opportunity to say
Who's
this.
hotter, Sam Elliott, Patrick Swayze? Who's hotter?
I mean,
Let's marry, kill.
Well, can I just real quick? I want to
marry, kill.
Yeah, actually.
Yes, that's for sure. That would be the prequel to this is Fight, Marry, Kill. I want to talk about Kelly Lynch as not just the doctor in the town, the small town, but the hot doctor in the town, which I'm not sure with everyone else's experience of having an attractive doctor is or not. I actually have a story for that, but I don't know if it's for the air.
Well, having a hot doctor is terrible.
It's nerve-wracking is what it is how I would characterize it. But do we I mean, at least for me it was, let's put it that way. I mean, I mean, how do we feel about her character other than as an object of desire / plot point? Right? Like, how do we feel? So Marina, you start us off. How do we feel about the Kelly Lynch character?
I mean, she doesn't really have a character outside of any of that. I mean, she doesn't even have dialogue after he kills the guy. She just like scoffs and runs off. That's it. You know, she just exists to give a heterosexual reason for this guy to be so in Patrick Swayze's like business. And
Dr. Elizabeth Clay.
And it barely comes through. I feel like it barely comes through. There's like two moments where it really comes through when they say when they're talking about it, like, oh well, she left town and, you know, wasn't really attracted to him. And then the second time is when they're talking outside of the car dealership. There's no other times where you really feel like there's any kind of connection between Kelly Lynch and Ben Gazzara.
Right. Especially when she's always with at his house across the lake. She's always across the lake from the dude. Like, it's just like never comes up in a conversation about.
And he beats women, so it just never comes up.
And she's not mentioned. Yeah, that's
it's also weirdly around the same time as Friday the 13th. They could have taken a very different Lake approach to that, I feel like, and just had you know, hockey mask Ben Gazzara. I mean, like,
Yeah, like, I think that like, you know, Kelly. I think Kelly was like underused. Like her character isn't very well developed. Like she really is, like Marina said, she's just there as a tool that's there as a mechanism to make other things work. She doesn't have a character of her own. Like we see her twice as when we're in the hospital, once for milliseconds on her own, and then when she's patching up Patrick. And like
it's like 40 minutes for them to get to her anyway.
Yeah, it's like aside from that, you don't really get to know who this person is. And then like when they're in the car and he says like, "Is he too ugly for her or something?" And I'm like, oh, like, you know, like idiot. Like who wrote that piece of shit?
I wrote that line.
A guy that looks like Patrick Swayze is gonna be like, "I'm too ugly for you." Like, come on. But also,
I felt connected to Patrick Swayze at that moment because there's definitely been moments where I'm like, oh, a kiss is about to happen, and then when it doesn't, I'm like, oh, I guess I'm just too ugly for you, and turn away. And I'm like, that's the one moment I felt like Patrick Swayze was relatable.
It's a good line. I mean,
it's not
a good line if you're as attractive as Patrick Swayze. If you're not, you're just a sex pest at that point.
Yeah.
Like we get it. We get it.
Am I just too ugly for you?
Yeah, yeah. Dude, with the flip, with it, and what I love about that hair flip is you don't have the hair, so it's even better.
Yeah, that was the joke. That's why I thought the hair. Yeah,
that's good.
Really, you had to point it out on my podcast.
I wish there was a hair. I wish there was a hair flip whenever the guy said, "I fuck guys like you in prison." It's like he just stopped and go, "Wait, really?"
I wish he had been like just checking his nails, and he's like, "I fuck guys like you in prison. You ain't shit, boo."
Wait, isn't that the same guy that has the earring and the shark tooth necklace? Isn't that who he kills? The one with the
Yeah.
Who gives him the most like longing look in like the store when they first see each other. That, you know, just these.
And they have that fight on the dance floor, and it's all like this sexual tension thing going on. What is happening? Are you gonna fight or fuck? I'm not sure. Like at this point,
that should be the tagline for the movie. Frankly, you're gonna fight or fuck? I'm not sure.
And also, there's like that weird thing where everyone in the town, like, and it seems a common thing of that era, is like trying to distinguish the people like between who's like pretty and they're not pretty by having like all of these guys who are like bumbling kind of overweight dudes, which I found like there was so many of them in that film. And
so
even, like,
many bumbling overweight dudes in this film. It like blows my mind.
Like all the small business owners are all old and chubby and like big gutted and like
it's the law.
You know, it's like, and then they have the bumbling guy, I guess, at the end who's like, the polar bear fell on me, like
the polar. By the way, polar bear fell on me as one of the last lines of the movie.
Yeah, I mean,
this
like
is art.
It's like, wow.
It's like, that's what makes me think that the people that made this movie had some idea of what made it awesome. Because it's like, you don't end on a line like that if you think it's like, oh, we're making serious fucking art here. Watch out, Criterion.
Yeah.
We come.
Yeah. It's like, that's the ending. And everyone's like, is that correct? Is that correct? And everyone's just like,
fuck it. Let's go. After party, bitch. Let's go.
And like the sheriff like, okay then. And off they walk. It's like there's just dead people everywhere. Oh no, a polar bear fell on the guy. But how did he die?
So
a house full of dead people.
Ben Gazzara's lair, which is a killing field, but by the end of it, like, to be clear, which is you like, to me, it was like I didn't expect it to go that way, even though there's all, I guess, chokehold logic.
You didn't expect it to go that way. That's what's about to happen.
The chokehold logic.
It was going to be an orgy.
We could have gone that way too.
You thought we were going to all fight, but we're not. We're all going to fuck.
The chokehold logic of the movie absolutely lends itself to it ending that way, but by the same token, it's still somehow surprising. of just how violent it is. Like that's a violent outcome for a movie that, yeah, it's dudes getting punched in the face and then also punching other dudes in the face. Like I said on the other episode, it's the equivalent of the Simpsons bit of let's fight, them's fighting words, and then the dudes fight. Like that's what that bar is. But
let's fight. I used to fuck guys like you in prison.
But I mean, how much different is that, right? Like, it's not that much different. But like the way that like it gets super violent at the end, like, but super violent in the way like it's one of those like obstacle course shows where it's like, okay, you can only kill dudes with what you find in this room.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Have you guys? But also, have you seen? I mean, it's a guilty pleasure movie, I guess. But like, I like the 21 Jump Street movies with Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum. So
Cannibal Channing Tatum, or aspiring cannibal. Sorry.
In 22 Jump Street, they fight the girl from Workaholics. The blonde girl that's in Workaholics. That's like so they're fighting her, and she's like looking at I can't remember. I think it's Jonah Hill. And she's like, "Are we fighting right now, or are we fucking? Are we fighting right now, or are we are we gonna fuck or something?" And that's how I felt with the like. I used to fuck guys like you in prison line. I felt like that was like the logical conclusion of it.
That line just totally took me out of that movie. It was just it's
like say no homo.
Is
it not a common saying at all over there? Like people don't say it.
People say it in Australia.
In Australia, people say it. Like people say it's like, oh yeah, dude, watch out. Things gonna drop the soap. Like it's just one of those sayings.
Yeah, that's common.
Oh yeah,
we get that.
That's
not what I thought you were talking about.
This was like a threat. Like this isn't like a like people just,
like guys would say that in fights, like
joshing around. Oh, like in fights, I've not heard.
Yeah, over here at least, like or bikies.
To be fair, Australia is a penal colony.
And also, what manner of prison was this?
Say
it. It is a country of convicts, correct?
Oh, that's not what I meant by penal colony, but yeah, let's move.
Oh, hey.
Oh!
What manner of prison was that, though? That there were dudes like Patrick Swayze hanging out? Was it like hot dudes working out prison?
They don't look like Patrick Swayze. There's no
Swayze bill.
It's just like anyone
white collar yoga prison? Like what? Like prison? Did they send him from Dirty Dancing to jail? Like what? Huh?
She was 17 and Dirty
No,
Dancing.
it's like when you've got an attractive male who kind of is a little feminine looking or prissy and like not as tough, and that's like used as a thing. Like you're definitely going to be the doughboy in prison. It's like
and then a bunch of Australian guys just fuck the guy.
But the thing is. But he's the best at like punching dudes in the face, so it's like that's clearly not true. Which is one of the things I love about it. It's just non-Euclidean geometry. The whole goddamn movie. There's nothing about it makes sense. Like it's like I feel like you need to like be from an alternate plane of existence to have this be a sensical movie. But I love it.
The monster trucks got me.
The monster trucks
for no reason. No reason. Why are there monster trucks in this film? There's no reason for it.
Can I
in this town, like they're just cruising along in monster trucks. Like what? It looks like a really flat area. There's no like. It's like, well, what is?
Yeah, fuck it. That's why.
Well, that's what happens when your sugar daddy's trying to get the whole squad on his side. They're just buying the monster trucks.
If you're wealthy,
yeah, just buy him a gravedigger. Done.
But I said it last time. This movie is made for 10-year-olds. I mean, so you got to have a monster truck in it. I mean, that's the whole reason, is because your audience is children. It's weird because they don't make rated R movies for children like they used to.
My plug for this earlier when I was on Class Time. Well, Kenzo's new like the Sabbath Saturday or whatever shows, Sabbath Cypher, that's what it is. But Kenzo's new show, when I was producing it earlier and I was plugging this for later, we were like the Rittenhouse thing came up and I was talking about how he was defending a car dealership, and then I was like my random fucking comment was like I'm sure they insurance. Then I was like, this is a perfect time to plug Roadhouse tonight. So I was like,
yeah, always a good time to plug.
Because they have the line where they fucking go through they have the line where the monster truck goes over the fucking cars, They're like, you have insurance, don't you? So I was like,
yeah. And
that
that's
was
a great
part.
Ben Gazzara flex of like, this is the kind of asshole I am, is check this shit out. Like, and this is because like you went against me. Like, you know, like in that like petty despot, small town, aspiring mafioso sort of mindset, like
mafioso,
hey,
mafioso, whoa.
They call it, they pronounce it differently in the Midwest, just like Pierre instead of Paris.
Or
anyway,
Roadhouse.
No, do you know? I mean, is that so? Do we want to talk about pronunciation of things in the Midwest? Because there is a Paris that's pronounced Pierre,
like a pear.
Yeah, where it's like, of course you fucking call it that. You fucking nix. Anyway.
Oh yeah, I mean, like the town like near where I grew up was called Monticello, not Monticello.
That's what I'm talking about. Like it's like you could, and it's like you are kind of like aspiring to be like, oh no, you might make fun of for this. No, it's a point of pride for us.
Yeah,
I have a Monticello.
It's cello.
I have a Monticello 20 minutes from my house that has the only casino like near the Hudson Valley, near in upstate New York. But that's Monticello. It's not Monticello.
Yeah, Monticello has Indiana's like premier wooden roller coaster ride. I don't know. Indiana Beach.
I mean, hey, you take it where you can get it, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that brought it to a dead stop. Okay, sure. All right.
All right. So I guess one other thing I wanted to talk about was the like the western element of it being the one scene that the doctor really, I guess, shines is when she's trying to stop Patrick Swayze from going after her ex paramour or whatever the fuck, you know, he's supposed to be. And he's like he's just in full fucking beast mode, like ready to fucking kill him. And he's like, I got to save this town from Brad. And she's like, who's gonna save it from you? And I don't know. I just feel like that was a very well, I don't even know if that would fucking happen in a Western, but like it's an interesting moment because it's like it kind of calls to the question, like, all right, like he's gonna kill Brad Wesley, which happens anyway. But like, let's say he does it, and it's just him, and he goes to war against a large amount of people in the town. Which I'm happy that they saved the polar bear fell on me guy, because you know, otherwise it's just like they've massacred a good portion of the town. Like, assumably those guys aren't taken from elsewhere; they're townspeople that he's kind of paid to be on his payroll. So like, I'm happy at least one of them got spared, and like that's like 1/10 of the percentage of the town right there. You know what I mean? So it's interesting to me that you know, like what happens after, right? Like if it was just Patrick Swayze going to war against this guy after he just came in like 2 weeks ago, and he suddenly massacred like a good portion of the town, like she's kind of calling to the question, like, what happens after? Like, are you the next Brad Wesley? Like where does it go from here? So I don't know. That's a point.
When you swim around with Kelly Lynch and you don't pay for your crimes.
I was half expecting them to like have taken up residence in his house after they killed him.
Yeah.
I live here now. It's like Boba Fett or something.
Well, they're just trying to make the town safe for small business at that point. I mean, like, you know, like coming after that, like that guy specifically, like their big beef with him, it seems like, is that he takes which I mean is a very old fashioned thing. Like, you know, you put yourself in charge. You're in charge of the sheriff's department. You take a tribute or whatever, you know. But it feels like all they really wanted to do is make the town safe for small business again and kick like the corporations out. Or maybe they didn't. Maybe the town keeps getting developed after that. But it's like, I don't know. I just found it interesting. Like when she's like, "Who's gonna save the town from you?" Like, what happens after that? What happens when the guy that's developing the town in that sense? Because you can push somebody out and say, this isn't the person that I want in my town. Like developing it, gentrifying it, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But like, what happens when that person just gets murdered, and is the town just left the way it is? And then, so I don't know. That's the top of the head.
No, they all just go and have bad sex and swim in the lake, and
as everyone else does in that town, apparently.
And continues to never buy underwear ever again.
Do we feel like the the farmhouse dude, like his backstory, like what's up with that?
I wanted something like that. I like that guy.
Yeah.
I had like a thing. I was like, that's a good character, which they kind of didn't work with at all. You know, he was a cool character, and he had a story. You could tell.
And it's like, oh well, moving on. I'm gonna do yoga now. All right, cool.
Yeah, I mean,
they're all just people for Patrick Swayze to save, but like with no conception
and then
after Patrick Swayze forcibly saves them.
And you also have like freaking Keith David in the film. Like Keith David has like one line in the whole movie.
And the one line is like, the one line is something that's happening at the bar, and he's like, "Oh, there's a phone call for you," and hands him the phone. And it's Keith David after Platoon's come out. Keith David after Born on the 4th of July, after he's been in like a series of really amazing Oliver Stone movies. You know what I mean? Like it's Keith David as like a famous actor, and he has one line, and he hands him the phone.
He was in They Live, where he had like the longest fight scene, and they didn't even have him like fight anybody in Roadhouse. Like, come on.
And that's a scene where like the animals are fighting, like everyone's punching each other in the face, you know, like it's like that's how that town rolls.
Yeah.
John Doe did have more lines, Kenzo. You are correct. Yes. Can we? Okay, so the other character that I think is hey, the Julie Michaels character, who's the one jumping up on the tables and doing the dancing with like the 80s underwear and such.
Mhm.
I feel like there's a whole freaking series of movies about like her and like how that came to be.
There's some seriously effed
And like,
up
where'd she get her underwear?
Yeah,
Nobody
well,
asking for a friend.
Everybody else.
She's got the rich husband who apparently has got the main line to the underwear wherever they hide it.
Yeah, no one else has any in that town. It's a dry town for underwear. Well, maybe not.
She's buying up the underwear and keeping it to herself, so nobody else gets any.
Where's that spin-off?
Big underwear.
Well, that's the code for JCPenney. He's gonna bring big underwear.
You guys have to hear this. IMDb has like a storyline for the film, and then they have like a bunch of hashtags for the film. And the hashtags that they have are nightclub, cleavage, bouncer, stripper, sex on first date. They are the hashtags for the plot of this film.
Beautiful.
Well, which
I love
one's
the
a lie?
internet.
Which one of those hashtags isn't accurate?
Well, none
Where's
of
the
them.
lie?
It's just
Where's the
like,
lie?
well, actually, stripper. Technically, there's not a stripper.
Yeah, true.
That's true.
Oh, wait,
The one
actually, that is a question.
there's
that
not
I
a
wanted to ask.
She's just a what do they call it? Good time girl, right? Is
Yeah,
like what that
she just
phrase
wants
is?
to strip for fun, but she's not a stripper.
Aspiring
That is a
stripper.
question though that I wanted to ask you and that I wanted to ask Marina. Like just in general, like there does seem to be a treatment of sex work in this film, or really any kind of like any kind of sex, I guess, doesn't seem that appealing in this film at all anyway. But like from the start of the film, like the way that they decide to show that the place is seedy is that they have the guy sitting there that we talked about in the beginning. That's like, for $20 you can kiss her or kiss him, and she has the one with the titties. But like, which is, I mean,
So
I have
depressing.
I know bars that people are kind of like that, like just creepy dudes pimping people out. Like that is
Mind seeing from a distance.
but like but throughout this film, it does seem like sex work is treated very badly by the like it's just used as a way to show villainy or the fact that this bar has just gotten out of control. So I was interested to hear thoughts about that.
Well, yeah, I think you've got two polar opposites. They're using the males with the fighting, and then they're doing the exact same thing with the females. They're just like monetizing and fetishizing the female as just like the object there. And it's like not just the object for money but it's like that manpower. Like you've got the hot chick, you're higher in the man chain, but also like there's this, I feel like it's like overall it's like this big thing just about control. Like, and none of these women seem to be willingly in control of the behaviors that they're out doing. Like there's a man
there's
there.
the other scene
or
where the woman that comes with Ben Gazzara, is doing like that strip tease. I think that's probably what they meant by stripper, which isn't. I don't think she's a stripper. I think she is the woman.
Oh
that
yeah, 100%.
seems like she had a black eye when Swayze comes in. She's like doing a whole thing on the pole, and that's kind of treated as like, oh, this town's out of control as well. And I definitely want to get Marina's thoughts on this too, because it seems like that's kind of one of the main one. It seems like maybe it's like low hanging fruit in a way. Like one of the easiest ways to show that this town's gotten out of control is to be like, look at the sexual impulses in this town. See, it's gotten way out of control.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely like, it's very interesting how like the only time you actually see any women in the nude is when they're being criticized. You don't actually, I think, see Kelly Lynch's boobs at any point in this movie.
They have sex fully clothed.
Right. But you see all of these women that are hanging out with Ben Gazzara's character, like gallivanting, just like complete, no bush in this movie from either parties. So we know it's a happy Christian film. But you see these like topless women running around, and they're like, they're definitely using this like sex and loose women and loose morals and
But then they have that, like I was gonna say, Marina, like they have that the character who's essentially the ugly girl, like who's like seen as like almost non-female because she's not in this like she's never categorized in the same way.
One of the boys,
and yet still wants to fuck Patrick Swayze. What is that? What does that tell you about the way that the
natural order of things?
All the interactions with women are all based around like their body and their sex and having sex or being used as a sex object in every way. Like, even you could even say the scenes with Kelly Lynch are, because essentially the times that he's with her, it's more about her as the sexual thing than it is about her as a person. And their banter is all really about sex. It's not about who she is as a person. So I also think, like, realistically, it's like they probably might even hate each other after this if it was a real story. Because it's like they don't even know each other, like, really at all. And she disagrees with him on a lot of these moral things, but like for some reason.
Well, like, the last second he decides he agrees with her morally, and he decides not to kill the guy. Like that's like really the only moment that, like, he's brought back from the brink of being some kind of vigilante that just people come after him, and he's suddenly like being the sheriff, I guess, that people come after him.
She kind of went and dibby-dobbed and got everybody else to come and kill him for her.
But the big thing is
she just did it so that
it's an inner psyche moral victory, right? Like it's only in his own mind that, like, he isn't the one that has to kill them.
Yeah.
Like the rest of the town is just like, oh, we've had enough of this guy, let's kill him. And then, of course, it leads to like the greatest line in the movie, which is the polar bear fell on me line.
Which
I mean, that's astounding. I want that to be my last words, frankly.
But that also is a line that kind of just like the moral of the story is like peer pressure works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like,
in conclusion,
so what do you
peer
think?
pressure works.
What do you think, guy that clearly is working for him just came out of there? Like, do you want to fucking defend him and die? And he's like, a polar bear fell on me. And they're like, all right. He's
and then like freeze frame. And then everyone starts laughing and they run the credits,
They don't run the credits. This is the funniest.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's the perfect, like, if this is a comedy, that would be how it does. They freeze frame on and they run the credits. I'm saying, like, that's like.
But they make it fucking so much weirder. They have a scene where it's just like an 80s pop ballad playing while they're like swimming in a pool. Like, what the fuck is this last
scene? Put your head underwater.
Exactly.
It's like, okay.
It's a weird movie, and it's somehow
works. Like he killed the dude, and the dude was floating in.
This movie was somehow like made by an algorithm specifically for me to be confused and bewildered by.
By the way, Kenzo. Anyway. Sorry,
that's a different podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
this
Marina.
movie is wild. It's okay. That was a very important comment.
Can continue, Marina. Don't ignore the comments. Please continue.
I had to learn it the hard way. I worked for Katie Halper for a little bit, and you've got to ignore the comments.
Yeah, I got no thoughts.
I ruined it. Sorry.
Too much cracking wise in this program.
This program is me inviting people on so I can just crack wise. I think you guys have figured out the inner secret of it. I'm like, watch this. I'm gonna have something witty to say.
Look, if you put different music and you put like different cuts of scenes in here, this is a wildly different movie. Like you could play this as horror, you could play it as true crime, and you could 100% do it as straight comedy. And none of those things would be as good as what the actual movie is, which is none of those things, kind of all of those things, and also its own thing. And that's why I'm so glad that this is you understand, this is the first 2-part episode that we've done. You can't count Dune because it's like Lynch Dune versus
those are 2 different movies.
Right.
That's different movies. And I'm so glad that finally someone has decided that Roadhouse should be platformed in the way that it should and examined in all its majesty and glorious shining cities of weirdness.
I need to respond to Kenzo and just say shame sex is the only way that I can get off because I was raised Catholic.
Oh! God damn it. But I'm so glad, like, I'm glad that it wasn't planned. It was basically just from me needling you that, like, we decided to do, like, because the thing is, this is not a Dudes Rock movie, right? It is, but it isn't. So the fact that, like, we have had 2 very different discussions about Roadhouse is fantastic to me. And like, there's a lot of stuff to love here, and there's a lot of stuff that's just fucking puzzling. And there's a lot of stuff that's like, look, if this was a different kind of movie, I'd be pissed about this, but whatever. It's Roadhouse. Fuck it. What are you gonna do?
Oh no, are you ready? Are you ready to do your segment?
Man, I was born ready. Let's do it. Let's do it.
So, I think the only person. Well, Marina, were you on an episode where we did the one-liners from Letterboxd?
No.
All right, so we do this new segment.
Semi-regular segment.
Yeah, it's a regular segment. It's been on every.
It's becoming a thing.
It's becoming a thing.
Conan needs to record a song that introduces it. Really.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
No, I will.
You need a little jingle.
Play your Letterboxd song.
I'm a man who will always rise to the challenge.
Oh, I thought you were saying I'm a man that's always gonna rock.
Oh well, that too. I mean, and that's implied. Do I need to say that? Come on.
So Marina, we do Letterboxd one-liners, which I mean, you know, Letterboxd, where you could do the reviews of films. And so we have Conan read one sentence Letterboxd reviews of whatever film.
This is the hoi polloi. This is like the unwashed masses are allowed in. It's people that like film, that like movies, that are allowed on to, like, they can do in-depth, like, 17-page reviews about like, brief history of time, like whatever, fine. But one of the absolute most delightful aspects of it is people, not famous critics or anything along those lines, just people posting their best little, like, one-liners. And this is a bit that we've developed on the show. You can follow the show, Movie Night Extravaganza. It's Forrest. So
it's just me drunk trying to review films that I watch.
And then I'm on it, of course, too, as is Andrew. I think Renee.
I am on it. Yeah.
You now have joined.
Yeah.
I'm getting better at the planning business.
I was always on it. I just didn't. I must have started it and then moved on. Something happened.
So I like this site for a number of reasons, not the least of which you can keep track of what you want to see, let alone what you have seen. But this is one man's opinion, one neutron's opinion of some of the funniest reviews, most insightful, whatever. Just kind of gets in, gets out.
And he picked a whole different batch.
This is the second batch. I've done 2 batches of these, and it was easy. It was like, this was a joy. Some of them, it's like, all right, man, what did I sign myself up for? But like this one was easy. So that's the intro. Letterbox, place for film. Come sponsor us, please. Face punch, face punch, face punch. Roadhouse. Wedge Organa 66.
That's the most solid one I think we've had yet.
Yeah, you know, it's Andrew did a review that was similar, but he's on the show, so he doesn't count.
Yeah.
The greatest movie to ever tackle the subject of famous bouncers. More Repetsko on that. And you know what? Not wrong.
Not wrong, no.
Not wrong. Researching the livability of Missouri, and I don't know, seems kind of awesome.
Rent for $100 a month.
I mean, we had a president from there. Wasn't Truman? The Missouri
Was he really?
senator?
Is that for real? Huh.
Yeah.
I'm
pretty sure.
Show. Wow. Okay. Just a relentlessly horny movie. like you.
Okay.
And he's not wrong, or he or she, I should say. He, she, or they are not wrong. It is a absolutely 100% objectively relentlessly horny movie, while also showing the most baffling depiction of sex I've ever seen, or one of the most. Don't talk to me about showgirls. Moving on. Martial arts, boobs, Patrick Swayze's ass. This movie has something for everybody. Charm of crows there. At one point, Swayze tackles a dude off a bike and then rips his throat out. 10 out of 10 movie. That's Yurt Homie with that one.
By the way, yeah, he was the senator from Missouri, Truman. Anyway.
Yurt Homie was?
Yeah, Yurt Homie.
Senator Yurt Homie is now recognized on the floor.
Senator Yurt Homie presiding.
Just want to say, for the official record, that Roadhouse is awesome.
Okay, Senator Yurt Homie, thank you for replying that to the 20th bill that you
as an addendum to the reconciliation bill. That was a requirement for his vote. A movie made by stuntmen, set in a world where specific bouncers are famous, known by name, and recruited for their bouncing prowess. The most fearsome of them all is a gentle philosopher with buns of steel. That's Crowbag with that particular bun lot.
I mean,
that's
like the Western thing, though, right? Like it's like there's some legend about some guy, like a Texas Ranger or something, that rides into town to save the fucking town, and everyone like knows the guy and knows his story. But like it makes it weird when it's a bouncer. Like it makes it weird when it's a bouncer that like because nobody knows any bouncer. Even bouncer, I worked with bouncers and I don't know those bouncers. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like
Isn't Buns of Steel, is that the one that was Suzanne Summers?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Had a little workout video.
Yeah, everyone did in the 80s. That was the thing. Missed my calling. Anyway. The most wonderfully absurd thing about this movie, out of many, is that it absolutely
many italicized.
Italicized.
I didn't know you could do that in Letterboxd.
Oh, you can do general HTML formatting, yeah. Is that at absolutely no point does explain why everyone knows the rankings of America's best bouncers.
You guys haven't seen America's Got Bouncers?
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Elizabeth with that one.
That's my favorite reality show.
I see you found my trophy room, Dalton. The only thing that's missing is your ass.
I'm proud that that's the only one that you repeated.
It is, but you know what? It bears.
It's worth the repeat. No, it should have been repeated. I'm just saying, like,
I want to repeat that in my daily life. I mean, are you kidding me?
The only thing that's missing off this album is your ass.
I mean, Ben Gazzara, who's like a character actor's character actor. Like, look at all the Cassavetes films he was in. Like, he is a stunningly amazing actor, and he's like, sure, what the fuck are we doing here? Great, I'm doing it. Like,
well, he's the third, right? Like this it really blew my mind. But he's like the third between Peter Falk, John Cassavetes, and Ben Gazzara, and like it blew my mind that we did that really fucking amazing
Mikey and Nicky.
Yeah, like we did Mikey, and so knowing that because I remember seeing that there was the thing where because we talked about this briefly where they went on Dick Cavett's show and were just relentlessly tearing into him and just fucking him up.
Yeah.
And like, so we talked about that, and I didn't realize that Ben Gazzara was the third guest that he had.
He's the third dude of that trio of like pretty cool dudes doing pretty cool dude shit of that era.
Which makes me feel like I wanted Ben Gazzara to be in Mikey and Nicky because that's an amazing movie, and I feel like he would have been a great character, but he could have been a great bus driver.
Aspiring bus driver Ben Gazzara. Yes.
But all right, so it's been an hour and 55 minutes, so I'll bring this.
That's you're gonna characterize it and give the time.
And, starting with Marina. Final thoughts. Which, by the way, Kenzo stole that segment today. But anyway, final thoughts.
I love this movie. I'm gonna make it an effort to watch it more, and just I'm completely obsessed with how just bizarre this was. Yeah, fucking great film.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I think that after watching Patrick Swayze talk for as long as he did about his career as a I already made a thoughts joke tonight when I talked about the
no, one per episode, man. That's the law. That's the law.
No, but like researching into like the Patrick Swayze thing and then realizing how much, I mean, I knew that he was in Dirty Dancing and that he was a dancer, but like he's trying to like pivot away from dancing. And it's like, it's almost like this is his Suboxone. Like this is his version of like, I'm trying to pivot away from just being a dancer. Here's a movie with super, super choreographed, although violent, but still super choreographed dance scenes. Like where it's like, oh, we're fighting, we're beating the shit out of each other. But it's like still choreographed to the point where you're like, no, this is pretty much like kind of a dance movie at times. Like his Marshall Teague fight at the end, where he ends up killing him and putting him in the lake. Like that's like kind of like they're doing kind of a ballet. Whether he wants to fuck guys in prison or not, that doesn't have any bearing on whether it's like kind of a dance. It's like a choreographed dance fight, and you realize like this is like Patrick Swayze trying to break away from doing movies about dancing by dancing, but then this dancing is like the violent kind. That was my, Renee?
Yeah, I mean, the movie is incredible because it is so bad that it's good. It's so nonsensical. Everything about it should make this movie incredibly wrong in every way, yet it's enjoyable as hell to watch. So, yeah, Patrick's... No underwear, walls, mustaches, sleeves, tits. I mean, there's everything in there. And
what else do you ask for a movie?
It's got it all.
They got it all, and they were able to get away with it. I don't think you couldn't make this film today. You couldn't make it. And I think
Bobby Wyatt would come out and tell you why this movie's canceled.
I'm sure it's canceled by a lot of people, but like, yeah,
I don't think anyone's canceled.
I think Roadhouse escapes cancellation. I think it's just there's something.
It's Patrick Swayze, and he's got that saint thing about him that everybody just thinks he's a saint, and blah blah blah. So he kind of gets a free pass with whatever he does. But I feel like, the film in general is great because it's just so bad and just some films are just so bad they're good, and that's how I feel about Roadhouse.
How do you guys feel about my movie pitch? They remake Roadhouse, but Tommy Wiseau plays Patrick Swayze.
Oh my god!
I prefer modern day Patrick Stewart to that, but I would greenlight that.
I'm more into the Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen.
Well, think about it. You watch The Room and you see Tommy Wiseau. He's really into his ass, and you could have him, and the girl's like, stay there. He's like, ha 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 ha.
He would sign on to that in like less than a second, like a quarter second. He'd be like, I'm in.
I need this now.
All right. Well, the three of us have given final thoughts already.
No, I have more.
All right.
Believe it or not.
Conan, go ahead.
So first of all, I just want to say
I also have more.
So I'll go first since I'm the not the official co-host proper, but more of the featured guest, comic entertainment. That I love that it took the entire episode for this one to get into the pain don't hurt thing, which I love. Obviously, Kenzo loves. He got the tattoo, but it shows the different facets.
Kenzo got a pain don't hurt tattoo and came on and showed it. What did any of you guys do today?
I pulled some more Letterboxd reviews.
Yeah,
but
I kept the same clips.
It's fine.
We didn't get to we only got to one of them the last time.
Look, so this movie is bonkers. Like, this is a crazy movie. There's no reason why any of it should work, but it does. And it's wonderful. And it's unique and it's interesting. And these are my favorite movies to talk about because, you could talk about, we could do a series of these. We could have a podcast that's let's talk about Roadhouse with different people. And every single person that we have on is going to have their own opinion, their own take on things. I heard new stuff here that, I've thought about this movie a lot. Look, I take the Criterion Challenge every year. I probably thought more about Roadhouse than anything I've seen on that. Right? Because it's crazy. It is a crazy movie, but it also is awesome. And if it's on on cable or whatever, or at a bar or
Bill
something,
Murray will call Kelly Lynch's husband.
Bill Murray will call Kelly Lynch's husband about I'll always watch it. And I was talking to Renee and I's friend Josh Newton about it, and we were talking about movies. He's like, yeah, let's always watch that. And I'm like, yeah, me too, man. I'm totally with it. And I love what people get out of it. And the fact that, no one's saying it's Citizen Kane, but this is a fucking good movie. This is a good, and I think we need to get out of the habit of something has to be intellectually matching all of my values or this and that to be worthwhile. Some stuff is just this is awesome. This is objectively awesome as a movie. And I almost don't trust anyone that isn't able to dig into that. And again, because he is a philosophy.
Is that what you ask people when you're trying to you get somebody to maybe watch your house while you're going on vacation or whatever you're gonna do? You're like, what do you think about Roadhouse? I don't give a fuck about whatever happened before this.
No.
What do you think about Roadhouse?
Yeah, I can't trust you with my cats unless I know what you think about Roadhouse. So last thing, because I said plenty this time and last time, is that I would, since Dalton's a philosophy major, I would just like to read the following. What cacophony is violence, but louder still, the silence after. A polar bear fell on me.
Yeah, I co-sign all of that. I hope you're ready for the fight of your life. Defending Roadhouse on any good movie podcast. Anyway,
damn right I am.
All right, trophy room ass. How you feeling?
That's low key my favorite bit. Is all of us putting self-admonished nicknames and reference the show in here. I know it's not cool to mention that, but it's one of my favorite things.
Yes. I just, one of the things I talked about last time was just how they, the camera made love to Patrick Swayze. But I do want to mention another thing that the camera did was they shot all the fight scenes in medium shots, which is almost unheard of in American films. It's something that's often done in Hong Kong cinema to show off the fighting. So as we appreciate the dancing of Patrick Swayze. We really do actually get to see it, which is actually really nice. And I don't think, as fun as this movie is, I think that little fact often gets overlooked. So I just wanted to shout out shout out to the medium shots during fight sequences because I love them. I think Conan loves them.
Medium shot posse.
I bet you it's a wonderful look for an action film, and I'm just glad that we don't have those quick cuts and close-ups. Like, we are just so been driven to just like that fight sequence in Commando. I love Commando. The movie makes no sense either, but like that fight sequence at the end with the knives, like it's just all quick cuts and no beauty like in the long shots of Roadhouse.
Well, it was sponsored by Big Knife. Knives have never looked cooler, right? That was the best one, I think, from the last episode.
Yeah.
Reviews.
Yes.
Knives have never looked cooler. You're right about that.
So I'm trying a new thing where I'm gonna just end the show by throwing out a quote there. But I'm gonna say, shout out to all my 40-year-old adolescents. Shout out to all my felons. Shout out to all my power drinkers. And shout out, most especially, to all my trustees of modern chemistry.